Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Obi. In this video, I'll walk through the custom installation of SQL Server that allows us to prepare for SQL Server integration services. This is part one of a three-part video on installing SSIS. Please hit that subscribe button to subscribe to the channel. Okay, so getting ready to install SQL Server integration services. We need to install SQL Server first. Even though this video is about 6 minutes long, the installation will take you about 1 hour. First of all, go to this link and download SQL Server. The link is in the description below as well. I've also included a step-by-step document that will walk you through the installation if you prefer that format. After you download the install file, go ahead and double-click to execute it. This will bring you to the window where you can choose the installation type. Please choose the custom type. Choosing the custom allows you to select SSIS services and features that we want installed. Of course, accept the software license terms. Here, it starts to download the installation packages. The download continues. Boom! The download completes here. Of course, your installation will take longer than this. It brings you here ready for the installation of SQL Server. Click on the installation link on the left navigation here. This is where you select the standalone SQL Server. The next window is where you choose the edition of SQL Server you want to install. In our case, it is the Developer Edition, which is free. Go ahead and accept the license terms for installing the Developer Edition. Of course, please read it before agreeing. In this stage of the installation, you choose whether you want Microsoft to check and install updates. I always check yes. This is the initial stage where it checks to ensure everything it needs is working and available. Here, we notice that Windows Firewall has a warning. Warnings will not stop the installation, but failures will. So here, there are no failures. I'm checking here to see the warning messages for the Windows Firewall. I click on OK to continue on my way. This is where you choose whether you want to extend your SQL Server to Azure. This assumes you already have an Azure account. I do, but for this installation, I will not extend. Uncheck the box near the Azure extension for SQL Server. Otherwise, you will receive those error messages. This is a stage where we select the features or services we want installed. This is the reason we selected to do the custom installation. You may recall that we selected that at the beginning of the installation. Please select all the options you see here on the screen. The most important is checking the box under Shared Services called Integration Services. Click Next and let it continue with the installation process. The instance configuration is where we select or name our instance. This becomes important if you plan to install many instances of SQL Server. The default instance is usually called MS SQL Server. If you're installing another instance of SQL Server on the same machine, you will be required to choose a unique name for that instance. Click Next. Then we get to choose how we want the services started up when we start SQL Server. I go for automatic all the way. There are some that will show automatic. For instance, the SQL Server database engine is auto, but the SQL Server browser is not. SQL Server browser listens for incoming requests for SQL Server resources and provides information about SQL Server instances installed on the system. In essence, it helps you find other instances and services installed on your network. I also select automatic for the agent. It's the service that executes tasks or jobs on the server. So I set them all automatic. Some might say that keeping these services on automatic might incur resources, especially when they're on and are not really doing anything. I say that as a beginner, you should keep them all on until you have enough prowess to figure issues out. It's like keeping the lights on when you're walking into a new house so you don't bump your knees on furniture you didn't know was there. A person who is used to the house already knows the position of the furniture and can avoid it. You don't. So keep that light on until you do. Here is where you select the authentication mode or how you connect to the server. You can use the Windows authentication mode, which picks up and uses your Windows login. You can also choose a mixed mode, which uses both the Windows mode and the mode where you have to enter a specific username and password that allows you to connect to the system. For now, I'll use the Windows authentication mode. Here is where I add mine. After selecting the Windows authentication mode, I will then click the Add Current User to add my username. Then click Next. The option we see here is because we chose to install SQL Server Analysis Server in a previous step. Go ahead and click on Add Current User, which will add your username. I've added mine here. Then click Next. Here is where you will see the summary of everything you've selected and configured. Go ahead and click Install. The installation starts. The installation continues. Yay! The installation completed successfully with no errors or issues. What we just did was install the SQL Server Database Engine. Next, we are going to install SQL Server Management Studio, which is a GUI or graphical user interface that allows us to manage the database system. See you in the next video.